All right, let's dive right in. We're going to tackle one of those huge questions. You know, the kind that people have been asking forever. Are we really in control of our lives, or are we just characters in a story that's already been written for us? Today, we're exploring a really interesting framework that has a pretty surprising answer.
So this is it, the big question. Do you feel like you're in the driver's seat, making choices that actually steer your future? Or do you sometimes get that feeling that things are just happening and you're kind of along for the ride, totally out of your control?
You see, the perspective we're digging into today doesn't force us to choose. It actually suggests something much more fascinating, that somehow a pre-written destiny and our own free will can exist together at the very same time.
Okay, so Section 1, the riddle of destiny. This really gets to that core confusion we all feel at some point. You look at your life's path and you just have to wonder, am I the one steering the ship, or am I just a passenger?
This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It gets right to the anxiety of it all. If everything is already decided, then what does that make us? Are we just complex machines, just acting out a program? It's a really challenging thought.
So let's get into Section 2, Life, the Pre-Written Script. Let's really unpack this core idea that your life is basically a script, like a cosmic playbook that's already been written.
I mean, think about it for a second. You didn't choose your parents, right? Or the country you were born in, or your body. This framework says those aren't just random starting points. They are fixed scenes, major plot points in a story that was already laid out for this specific lifetime.
Which, of course, leads to the next logical question. If we're all just following a script, then who, or what, wrote it? Who's directing this whole show? And this is where the theory gets really wild. The writer of your current life script is you. Well, the you from past lives, whose thoughts and actions created the story you're in now. And the director? It's not some being pulling the strings. It's more like an impartial cosmic program called the Tao that just runs the code that you wrote.
Let's move on to Section 3, the actor's free will. Okay, so if the story is already written, where does our freedom even fit into the picture? This is where our role as the actor comes in. This is such a fascinating way to look at it. The slide basically splits our life in two. On one side, you've got the script, the fixed stuff, your role, the big events, who you're going to meet. But on the other side, that's your free will, and it's all internal. It's your attitude, your thoughts, how you choose to react. So it's not about what happens to you, but how you play the part you've been given. And according to this idea, this is where all our pain comes from. All the anxiety, the frustration, it's all from this one conflict. It's you, the actor, arguing with the script. You're cast in a certain role, but you want a different one. The script calls for a huge challenge, but you just want an easy life. That internal fight, that resistance, that's the root of suffering.
Now for Section 4, Writing Your Future Self. So you might be thinking, great, so the script for this life is locked in. Am I just stuck? Well, not exactly. Because even if this act is already written, we still have the power to influence the sequel.
So here's how that works, according to the source. Every single thought you have, that's your free will in action, is like a wave you broadcast out into the universe. The universe, or the Tao, records that broadcast, and then all that new data is used to program your future scripts. Your inner world today is literally writing the story for your next life. Here's a great way to think about it. Imagine a cosmic bank account of merit or gongdoi. Every peaceful, grateful, positive thought is a deposit you're making for your future, and every angry, fearful, or negative thought, well, that's a withdrawal.
So, Section 5, Fate and Quantum Physics. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. How does any of this square with modern science, right? I mean, everything we know about the quantum world seems so random, so unpredictable. It seems to completely contradict the idea of a fixed destiny.
If you look at the microscopic world, things just seem chaotic. Take Brownian motion, for example. You've got these tiny particles just zipping around randomly, bouncing off each other with no obvious pattern or reason. And then it gets even stranger. You've got the uncertainty principle, which basically says there's a hard limit to what we can even know. The more you pin down a particle's exact location, the less you know about where it's going, and vice versa. It really suggests that at a fundamental level, reality is just fuzzy and unpredictable. But this framework has a really elegant answer to that. Think about a huge, busy train station. If you look down from above, the crowd would look like a totally chaotic, random swarm of people.
But if you zoom in, you realize every single person is walking with purpose. They're heading to a specific platform to catch a specific train that's going to a predetermined destination. The chaos at the micro level doesn't change the destiny at the macro level. Okay, Section 6, the art of performance. So what's the big takeaway here? Given this entire way of looking at things, what are we supposed to actually do? How do we use this idea to live a better life, right here, right now? Well, the answer lies completely in the quality of your inner performance. A good performance isn't about being the hero in the story. It's all about your internal state. Are you playing your part with a sense of peace, of gratitude, of calm, or are you fighting against it, filled with anxiety and frustration? That's the only thing that really matters.
And that brings us to what is easily the most radical, most challenging idea in this entire philosophy. It basically takes our normal ideas about good and bad and flips them completely upside down.
Yeah, just let that sink in for a minute. According to this view, the universe doesn't care if your role is a good guy or a bad guy by our human standards. It only cares about how well you accept and perform that role. The ultimate goal is to get rid of that friction between what you want and what is, and just achieve this state of total inner peace with your script.
And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. It's a pretty provocative question, and it changes how you look at pretty much every struggle in life. What would change for you, right now, if you stopped trying to rewrite your script, and instead you put all of your energy into just giving the performance of a lifetime? Definitely something to think about.